Amber Rose, who according to Google is a American model, rapper, and television personality, gave a speech last night at the Republican National Convention, which in my opinion was the best speech by far. I did not watch every single speech, but from the maybe 5 or 6 that I did see live, it was the best one. However, not everybody liked this, and notably, popular conservative commentator Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire had a major issue with this. Here's some of the speech now.
I'm no politician, and I don't want to be, but I do care about the truth. And the truth is that the media has lied to us about Donald Trump. I know this because for a long time I believed those lies, so I'm here to set the record straight. The first person I knew who supported Donald Trump was my father. I was shocked. My entire family is racially diverse, and I believed the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research. I watched all the rallies, and I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. I realized Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all love. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong.
So throughout that speech, she was captivating, she had great delivery, and aside from that, the message itself, what better message would there be at a convention speech where you're trying to win over new voters? Sure, you also need to have people in your convention that are going to speak to the people who already like Trump, but part of the reason for a convention is to win over new voters, surely. And like it or not, there are many people in America that believe that Donald Trump is a racist or is a bad guy because of what the media has told them. And her story there, I think, is pretty powerful, saying she was in that camp, then at the recommendation of her father, looked into it a little bit more and realized she actually likes Donald Trump. And she likes, I think it was important in this speech, a lot of the supporters. She recognized that she liked a lot of Donald Trump's supporters. And in an election where you're trying to win over votes, that message could be very powerful. She has 24 million followers on Instagram. I did not even know who this was 24 hours ago, but 24 million people following on Instagram is a lot. She's going to be posting about that. And that story, I'm sure that story could resonate potentially with some of these people in America who have been told that Donald Trump's a racist, Donald Trump sucks. Maybe this message will get through to some of them. I think that's definitely a reasonable thing. However, Matt Walsh, the Daily Wire, let's take a look at his tweets here. He was not so much of a fan of this speech. So Matt Walsh says here, the RNC gives a primetime speaking slot to a pro-abortion feminist and self-proclaimed slut with a face tattoo whose only claim to fame is having sex with rappers. Truly an embarrassment. Not a single voter will be mobilized by this person. I disagree. I think her story, like I mentioned, about thinking Trump was a bad guy because of what the media told her, and then switching that up, I think a lot of people could potentially relate to that. Because, again, like I said, like it or not, that was the message for many in the media, many late-night comedians, many people in Hollywood. Trump's a racist, Trump's a terrible guy. That has been driven into the minds of so many Americans, and why wouldn't you want a story up there of somebody like Amber Rose who had that image and then changed their mind? Voting in general for elections, it's not a purity test. So Matt Walsh, you think that every Republican has to share your values right now, especially before an election? In my opinion, this is just not the time to be having these debates about it. You need people to win, or you need people to vote if you want to actually win. I don't understand this. I just think this is a ridiculous take. When someone comes to your party who, even if they're from like a different type of life, you can't just reject them. Hey, get out of here. You're not Republican enough for me. I'm Matt Walsh. And in the replies here, he's getting, most people thankfully don't agree with this, because I think this is completely the wrong take for Matt Walsh. If you want to win elections, if you want to be 100% pure in whatever you think Republicanism or conservatism is, then you can do that, but you're not going to win because you're just going to drive people away. People are like, so anyway, I think thankfully for the Republican Party, people don't agree with this. Matt, this is completely the wrong take. Amber Rose has even offered to do voter registration event with me in Philly, where she's from. Her speech was vulnerable and relatable to a lot of folks, especially women. We embrace and welcome at the real Amber Rose. This cat turd tweet. There it is, the dumbest take in X history. Another one here. Matt, I'm a former Democrat voter. I learned a lot in the past 4 years. I do my best to advocate for understanding, empathy, and opening the conversation to those still on the left. So, yeah, basically I agree. And then even Tristan Tate here. I hear you, Matt. She's also American anyway. Like, so most people have kind of echoed what I've been saying, that what are you doing? Nobody is perfect. And this, especially in like an election where you need 80 million, 90 million people to vote one way, I do not understand what Matt Walsh is thinking here, because it looks like he's just turning somebody away. Like, hey, get out of here. You're not Republican enough for me. And then here's a few more tweets from Matt Walsh about Amber Rose and just about the first day of the Republican National Convention in general. And I just completely disagree with Matt Walsh's entire view of what he thinks the Republican National Convention is supposed to be. Like, if they listen to Matt Walsh, in my opinion, they would get absolutely crushed in every single election. It would just be him and his friends. Hey, you guys can get mad at me for saying it, but the first day of the convention was totally absurd and a very bad omen of things to come. Trump has never had more momentum or goodwill, and the RNC decided to use that message, or push a message of diversity and inclusivity rather than using it to advance anything resembling a conservative agenda. I call it as I see it, and that's what I saw. And then Amala, who has like a big YouTube channel, replies, says, Matt Walsh, you stand behind a gate, laugh and ridicule the people who stand on the other side, tell them they should be where you are, and then lock the gate when they try to get in. This makes you worse than a confused leftist. Totally agree. What is Matt Walsh's position apparently is just, you need to think exactly like me, or you should not be voting, or you should not be even at the Republican convention. Whatever. I don't agree with that at all. And then to her point here, what if they kind of come to you and start to agree with you? Matt Walsh is saying, well, no, you've done things in the past, because he brings up that this Amber Rose, I think she has an OnlyFans apparently, but he brings that up and then just get out of here. And again, like, you don't need to agree with that in your house or like amongst your friends or whatever if you don't want to, but in an election where you need, in theory, over half the country to vote for you or vote for the person that you want, what are you doing? You can have different values for your own immediate like circle of people, though if you're going to go to the entire country, you can't be this like pure of a purist. It's stupid. Shows her OnlyFans, but Matt Walsh also says here, I'm not locking any gate. I'm not saying she can't be conservative. I'm just saying she shouldn't be elevated as a leader of the movement, which what a primetime convention slot clearly signals. Why? Why does it have to signal that? I don't think it does at all. It's people that are enthusiastic about Donald Trump. That, I think that's just, to use a word that is way overused, cope, as they say, from Matt Walsh. Why does that clearly signal it? He's just if you frame the argument around that, then maybe his argument makes sense. But people don't think of the convention as like all these people are necessarily thought leaders in the Republican Party. But people are getting way too emotional than they should be about this. It's bizarre. No, the people are just responding to you, Matt Walsh, because I'm assuming they don't want to lose the election. And if your thought and your tweets and your ideas about, hey, this person isn't Republican enough for me, for me, then they can go away. They shouldn't be at the Republican convention. You can have them liberals. People are like correctly, in my opinion, pointing that out, that if you have that point of view, you're probably not going to win the election. Now, obviously, it can't just be about winning elections. You still need to stick to some principles for sure. But yeah, in my opinion, Matt Walsh being way too much of a purist, you need 80, 90 million people to vote one way to win an election. You're not going to agree 100%, even probably 80% with a whole bunch of people that vote with you. So with that said, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know if you disagree in the comments. Either way, thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.